for the media too. Jeez. Get everything taken care of. Feels different in here today than it ever has, and some might think it's game week, but we're all graced by a Hall of Famer. Jimmy, congratulations. Awesome. Congratulations on everything you've done in this area, covering UT for a long time, but the area as well. So congratulations for everything that you've done. Awesome that it's game week, man. Let's go play ball. Excited to get into Neyland Stadium. Obviously, long training camp here with our players. We're at the point where it is time to go play and find out where we're at. We're in the middle of our preparation right now. Today was a Wednesday. Energy, focus, good. Things that we still got to clean up here before we get to kickoff, but excited to go compete with these guys on Thursday night. Really excited to see Vol Nation out, our student body. Huge amount of ticket requests by them. Excited to feel their energy inside of Neyland Stadium. Vol Walk. I know our guys are extremely excited about that too. You look back at the process all the way since January. I think it was 24th when we got here, and a ton of work that's gone into it. Excited to go play and compete with these guys and our fans that are in the stands as well. So Thursday night ball game, one benefit for us as a staff is we have the opportunity to go recruit on the back end of it. So a lot of our staff will be out on Fridays and have a chance to go watch some high school kids play football, in the state and across our region. So excited about that as well. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
We'll start with Patrick, then go to Brent.
Coach, first time we've talked to you since Bru had his situation resolved, just what was the reaction to that? Was it relief? Was it just glad that it's over? And how does it impact any of your preparation, if at all, and it was so early?
Yeah, certainly a small sense of relief. More than anything, just excitement. When I got the news, man, it sent chills down my spine. It's so excited for him. A young man that's done it the right way since he's been here. Has gone through a long, windy journey to get to this point, and now he has an opportunity to move forward with his future and go compete with his teammates, his brothers, and having a chance to tell him and then hear him tell his dad was one of the great moments in my career. You could just tell the sense of excitement and some relief from them that they're able to just move on and go compete. So really special for him and his family.
Coach, you mentioned tightening up a few things. How do you know when you're ready? I guess you're never ready in week one, but do you have a punch list, or is it one of those deals where you get to a point where you go, you know what, we've done all we can do. Let's just go put it down and kick it and see what happens.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you're always, man, we got to go play. At the same time, you'd always want more time to continue the preparation. You got a checklist: offense, defense, special teams, special situations, circumstances that you try to put your kids in. We've run the gamut on that. We've gotten into our normal down and situational preparation for this football game. There's still a lot of things here in the next 72 hours that we get a chance to clean up. But at the end of the day, like, you get to this point through the course of training camp, it's time to go play ball.
Jimmy, then Vince.
A couple of things. As far as McCoy, do you like the progress you've seen from him from practice 1 to now?
Yeah, the beginning portion of practice, we were kind of methodical in ramping him up as he, came off of not being quite 100% at the beginning of summer, and so we've built him up. He's got a good understanding of what we're doing. He's operated fairly efficiently in what we're doing offensively. For all of our guys that are out there playing on the offensive side of the ball with our tempo the first time, you think back to a year ago, it'll be their first time, experiencing it. And so there will be some things that we're going to have to grow through and clean up. But he's got a really good understanding of what we're doing. He's continued to get stronger physically, been fundamentally and technically more sound in what we're asking him to do. So there's a lot of positive things as we've gone through this training camp with him.
And where would you say your offensive line is now compared to where it was at the start of last year?
Yeah, in some ways, just like our program, much further ahead. They understand how we play, the ability to communicate. You guys saw that growth with them a year ago. We're healthy at this point in the season, which is exciting. We need to stay that way. But a lot of guys have played a lot of football up there for us.
Coach, how are you dividing during the season, during game weeks, how are you dividing those quarterback reps, being that Hendon is a guy, in terms of getting Joe some work with first team? How would you split that up?
Yeah, in what we do, Hendon's going to get, almost a majority or all of the one work. Joe at times will get a majority of the two reps. We have a plan for all of our twos, offensive line, skill guys, tight ends, to get a good amount of reps, and that's when we're going against practice squads. It's also when we're going against some good on good looks.
And tell us what you see in Ball State.
Yeah, I think week one, just in general, you're never sure exactly what you're going to get. Some of that can be personnel based. They have guys that graduate, new guys that come in. Where are they going to place them? Schematically, things tend to change in week one. Everybody went through a self-scout process from the previous year. They made changes to what they're doing. I think it's really big in week one that your players have an understanding of what you anticipate to see, but they have the tools in their tool bag to adjust to what they are actually seeing. Staff and everybody being able to adjust and subtly tweak and change things as the game unfolds.
Adam, then Austin.
At wide receiver last season, it took about a month to kind of have those roles solidified.
Yeah.
What particularly are you looking for specifically that guys can do to say that they belong in the starting lineup, getting reps?
Yeah, a big part of that last year was being in year one, new in what we were doing offensively. Vols being nicked up during the course of training camp, kind of changed the way the season started for us. Some guys coming on strong, so that's the inevitable beginning of a season. Some of those things will happen as this season unfolds too, but in particular in year one, we'd like to play more guys at the wide receiver position, guys that are ready to compete and perform the way that we need them to. Be in the right spaces at the right time and have a trust with the quarterback. And I do feel like we'll play more guys than we did a year ago at this juncture of the season.
As you still try to figure out who you're going to start at left tackle or who's going to be the guy there, you go into Thursday night with a plan on like two series or quarter by quarter, or just kind of let the game flow as it may. And then anybody out for Thursday, or you pretty much full go?
Yeah, I think at this point we're pretty healthy heading into week one. You guys know there's still a long time before we actually kick off, and tend to not, unless it's a major injury where guys won't be available, tend to not make a decision on Wednesday afternoon and wait just a little bit longer. The left tackle position, both of those guys are going to play. Somebody will run out with the ones. I haven't watched Wednesday's practice yet. Coach Ellerby hasn't. As we go back and evaluate it, we'll have a plan for those guys to rotate during the course of the ball game and what percentage each of them play and who runs out there the first one. I don't have an answer to yet.
Rob, then Martha.
Coach, I know just the nature of your job, there's always a lot of unknowns, and you're never probably fully satisfied. But just can you compare your comfort level this year with where you were last year, with just feeling like you know what you have for your team?
Yeah, you can see it in the way as we transition from how we practice during training camp to the season, just the comfort with our players and what we're doing. That's true for our coaches too. We're in sync, the ability to communicate. Our players have a clear vision of what's going to happen here and up until kickoff, the standards that we have. Year two should be a lot different than year one. It has been. I don't think you're ever where you want to be as a coach because you're always trying to find ways to be better. At the same time, have a pretty good idea of the guys that are running out of that tunnel, who they are, what they're about, how they're going to play and compete, how they're going to handle positive plays, negative plays. And now it's about us continuing our preparation and be ready to go kick off.
Hey, Josh, right here. A season ago, you said it took a while for some of your team to learn how to prepare for a football game, kind of those 72 hours leading up to kickoff.
Yeah.
I know it's Wednesday game week technically, but have you seen any growth in that regard for this group right now or, over the course of training?
Yeah, a year ago, early in the season, the last 48 hours in particular, in the early parts of the week, I didn't think we kept what should be important all the time, and got sidetracked by things that have nothing to do with us as individuals and collectively as a football team going out and playing our best. I do believe we're a more mature football team. That's, I'm saying that because of how they've handled everything since we've gotten back in January. the issues from day to day, are so different than they were a year ago because our players are different and, true to the characteristics of accountability, trust and respect, and competing extremely hard. I do anticipate us handling the last 48 hours the right way, as we head into Thursday night. Inevitably, you always have new players inside of your program. Year two for me, I've been able to be clearer in my message to them about my expectations on the front end of it. They have older guys that they can see and are role models for them as well, and I believe that we'll handle it in a lot better way.
Carthy to the back.
Hey, Coach, back here. With week one coming up, I'm sure it's some gamut of emotions for a head coach, getting ready for that first game. I wanted to ask you, what do you think your emotions will be like when you go down to ball walk for the first time and go through the power to the season?
Yeah, a year ago I had no idea. I talked about the experience of it, and to be honest, I had heard so much about it. I thought it would be really hard for it to live up to that ball walk in particular. It superseded my expectations. I'm excited to get off the bus with these guys and go down ball walk, enter gate 21, and then get ready to go compete. It'll be a great atmosphere, electric. Since our students have come back, you can feel the energy and the buzz around here in particular too. And our guys, like you think all the way back to January, man, that's a long process. And I'm excited to run out with these guys and go play.
Ben and Jimmy.
The different position battles throughout the roster, you as a staff, will you all evaluate the game as equal to what they did over the course of 3, 4, 5 weeks of fall camp, or is it simply
Are you saying
more because it's the game?
Sorry. Are you saying like when we get into week 2?
Yes, just examining those position battles moving forward. Will the game equal what they did throughout fall camp, or more because it is a game?
Well, certainly the game's going to matter, right? It's the realest thing and the most important thing that we do is perform in those moments. I think as you go through a season, you got to understand that players are going to grow and change and evolve, and they're going to get better. In particular, the young players inside of your program, you got to have a really good feel for who he is, how does he prepare, and his ability to handle the moments in the biggest moments, and we're going to need a lot of guys. A year ago, we were the thinnest football team in America. We need to be deeper than we were a year ago. To do that, some of your young guys, you got to let them grow and evolve throughout the course of the season. There's a plan at each position, to play certain guys. The game's going to unfold differently too, and so just because you have a certain plan going in as a coach doesn't mean that it's clear and cut, and that's how it always unfolds. So being able to evolve and understand the ebbs and flows of the football game and put guys in the right moment is critical for me, but it's critical for our coordinators and our position coaches as well.
Josh, as far as the secondary, how would you assess where you are at cornerback and at the star position?
Yeah, I like the maturity and the competition that we've had at the star position. T-Mac and Wesley feel really confident in both of those guys. T-Mac's been as consistent as anybody we've had since we hit the grass day one of training camp. What he did a year ago on special teams in particular, I think has really allowed him to grow and gain a bunch of confidence, and then his work ethic since the offseason started. The quarterback position, believe we'll see multiple guys that will play there. I like a lot of what they've done up until this point. Obviously want to see them go out and perform at a really high level on Thursday.
Any update on Williams on him?
I don't have an update. We put out as soon as we received information that he was suspended indefinitely from the program, and we'll let that process unfold here.
Wes.
Josh, in your time as a coach, and maybe even going back to your time as a player, when you look at a situation like the secondary last year in that final game of the year against Purdue, the way that goes, obviously not how they wanted to play, is that something that you hope kind of motivates them, or is that something that you want them to kind of forget about and just move on from?
I think it should spur and motivate you to get kicked off in the offseason the right way, right? And it certainly did. The guys that we have, inside the building, they've prepared in a really good way since we started our offseason. Each quarter of our offseason, from strength and conditioning to spring ball to what we've done in the summer, Now it's being able to handle everything that comes with game day: formation recognition, coverage adjustments, the ability to communicate, have your eyes in the right place, trigger when you're supposed to and go make plays, handle the 50-50 ball, be patient and calm and glove it. So all those situations got to unfold. And I believe in the guys that we have back there. I believe they'll play really well for us.
Brent and Patrick.
Josh, all your assistant coaches that stood at the podium and talked about the need to play more guys. Where's the line in forcing depth and growing depth? And then secondly, on Tamarian McDonald, how big of an example is that for you to use with your younger players on your roster about the growth and development through special teams to get to the field?
Yeah, the fundamentals that you have to play special teams show up in everything that you're doing on offense and defense. The ability to move your feet, have your eyes in the right place, play with fundamentals and technique, hands and feet, be able to block people, be able to destruct a block. All of those things correlate over. We talk about that and show that in our special teams meeting all of the time. Coach Eckler does a great job with that, and our players have bought into that. Almost all the great ones that I've been around, I say almost because there's been a few guys that are outside of that, but they end up starting in special teams and they gain confidence, and that was certainly the case for T-Mac. The need for us to be deeper is true. We have to be able to play more people than we did a year ago. However, you can't force that, like you're saying. You guys got to show that you can trust them on the football field. That's playing their assignment and then being able to make plays, and that's what training camp's been all about. Who are the guys that we've identified that can do that at this point in the season? And we've gone through that process. We'll play a bunch of guys on Thursday night. We're going to come back. We're going to evaluate the film and see who handled it the right way and who can continue to grow, and that'll push us towards the following week.
Coach, I guess a lot has changed for Cedric Tillman for the past year. Just seeing him in the building, seeing him in practice, what's different about him? And are there some ways maybe he hasn't changed at all?
Last year at this point, nobody knew who he was, and certainly didn't know what he was about on the football field. And for him, he's been so consistent. You guys see the confidence in who he is, what he's about. He's got a great understanding of how to prepare. His on-field performance, he's continued to get better. Expect him to have a big night and have a big year.
Just time for one more. Anybody? All right. Great. We'll have players shortly.